Far beyond Neptune, and beyond the planets we know, lies a world so cold, so silent, and so distant that sunlight barely remembers how to reach it. This world is Pluto, a dwarf planet covered in frozen nitrogen, drifting at the edge of our solar system. And even though scientists no longer classify Pluto as a full planet, nothing about Pluto itself has changed. It didn't shrink, it didn't fall apart, it didn't drift away into deep space. Pluto is still exactly where it has been for billions of years, moving along its slow, stretched orbit like a frozen guardian of the solar system's edge. But if a human ever sets foot on this isolated world, they will discover a place far more extreme, far more alien, and far more unforgiving than the word dwarf planet can ever describe. As your spacecraft approaches Pluto, the sun isn't a glowing disk anymore. It's just a tiny white dot, brighter than any star around it, but still impossibly small. Sunlight here is nearly 2,000 times weaker than the sunlight on Earth. As you descend, a faint blue mist surrounds your lander. This thin haze is Pluto's atmosphere, made mostly of nitrogen with traces of methane. But this isn't a stable atmosphere. It expands when Pluto moves closer to the sun, and freezes solid when it drifts away. You break through this fragile layer and land on a surface that looks peaceful from afar, but hides a world sculpted by cold, not life. You step out of the spacecraft, your boots land on methane ice, cold enough to shatter metal. Pluto's surface temperature drops to 230 degrees Celsius, colder than anything Earth has ever experienced. The moment your visor clears, you realize something incredible. This world is darker than night, yet brighter than a dream. The sun barely warms your suit, shadows are soft and blurry, and the air is so thin it might as well not exist. You're not standing in daylight, you're standing in the afterglow of a distant star. When you look up, you don't see the warm, comforting sun you know. You see a cold spark, barely brighter than a flashlight. Light takes more than 5 hours to reach Pluto, and when it does, it feels empty, distant, hollow. Your surroundings glow with a dim bluish tint, like the last moments of sunset even at noon. It's neither day nor night, just a permanent twilight. And this faint light is the closest thing to warmth Pluto ever receives. Now you try to take a step, but Pluto's gravity is only 6% of Earth's. The moment you shift your weight, your body floats upward slightly, and you have to steady yourself. Each step becomes a tiny hop, a soft bounce, a slow motion leap. It's beautiful until you realize how difficult simple movement becomes. You can't run, you can't sprint. Even turning too quickly sends you drifting sideways. This isn't walking on a planet, this is learning how to move all over again. The ground around you isn't solid rock, it's frozen nitrogen and methane, packed so tightly that it feels like polished stone. Every footstep sounds crisp, every vibration travels far. You're walking on a world where water ice forms the mountains. Yes, water. But here, water ice is harder than steel because of the extreme cold. The plains shimmer with frost, the hills glisten like glass, and the surface beneath you has been untouched for millions of years. It is inhumanly quiet and unimaginably still. As you travel across this frozen land, you finally see it. Pluto's famous heart-shaped region, Tombar Rigio. Enormous, bright, smooth as frozen silk. This heart is not a symbol, it is a living, moving sheet of nitrogen ice. A slow gliding glacier that shifts across Pluto's surface over centuries. It reflects sunlight like a mirror, creating a faint glow even in the dimness. You are looking at the most iconic landscape on any dwarf planet. A heart made not of warmth, but of eternal frost. Pluto's heart-shaped plains may look peaceful, but the sky above them hides one of the strangest weather events in the solar system. As Pluto moves farther from the sun along its long, stretched orbit, the little atmosphere it has begins to cool, and then it freezes. Yes, the atmosphere freezes. Nitrogen gas turns into tiny ice crystals. A soft, shimmering snowfall begins, not made of water, but of frozen air. Imagine standing on a world where the atmosphere itself collapses, where the sky falls silently, layer by layer, until it becomes part of the ground beneath you. No other world you've imagined behaves like this. Pluto is unique and dangerously beautiful. Your suit is designed for extreme conditions, but Pluto is beyond extreme. Temperature is the enemy here, not suddenly but continuously. The joints in your suit begin to stiffen. Every movement requires more effort. Your visor collects a thin layer of frost, and you have to wipe it constantly. Internal heaters burn energy at an alarming rate. Every minute you spend outside shortens the time you have left. And your instruments, they respond slower, numbers drift, screens lag. It feels like the entire world is trying to slow you down. Pluto freezes everything, including time. You look around, expecting to hear something. Wind, cracking ice, your own footsteps echoing. But Pluto offers nothing. There is no wind. No atmosphere thick enough to carry sound. The silence here is not quiet. It is absolute. You hear your own breathing, your own heartbeat, nothing else. And then it hits you. This is probably the quietest place a human could ever stand. A world so still it feels like you're walking inside a paused universe. You press your transmitter to send a simple message back to Earth. Landing successful. But Pluto is so far away that your signal won't reach Earth for more than 5 hours. and the reply won't reach you for another 5. This means every conversation takes 10 hours. You are not just physically alone, you are temporally alone. Disconnected from the solar system you came from. On Pluto, even communication becomes frozen in time. The longer you explore, the more Pluto's true nature reveals itself. The nitrogen frost thickens on the ground. Your boots slip with every step. Gravity gives you too much bounce when you don't want it, and too little stability when you need it. Your suit heaters struggle harder with every minute. Power drops, temperature drops, vision flickers. This planet doesn't try to overpower you. It doesn't surprise you with storms or quakes. Instead, it waits. It waits for your equipment to weaken. It waits for your warmth to fade. It waits for the moment your last layer of protection can no longer hold. Pluto's danger is patience. You take one last look at the landscape. Endless plains of ice, silent mountains of frozen water, and a sky so dim that day and night feel the same. This place is breathtaking, not because it's alive, but because it has never been touched. That's Pluto's power. It's not destructive. It's ancient, unchanging, untamed. And if a human ever tries to survive here, they'll discover a truth stronger than science's definition. Pluto may no longer be called a planet, but it remains one of the most hostile worlds in our solar system. So yes, Pluto was reclassified. But that wasn't Pluto's failure. It was our definition changing, not the universe, because out here, billions of kilometers away, Pluto is still the frozen heart of the outer solar system. Silent, beautiful, and humbling. And anyone who visits it will remember one thing forever: Pluto doesn't care what we call it. It only cares that we survive long enough to understand it.